Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, hopefully this is working better now. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुनतीरा वनचारी यमुनतीरा वनचारी यमुनतीरा वनचारी यमुनतीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुनतीरा वनचारी यमुनतीरा वनचारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda Shri Radhe. Jaya Pancha Tattva, Pancha Tattva, Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Pancha Tattva, Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yajna ki Jai, Shri Radha Madhav Bhagavan ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to the Friday program. So Raghupati Prabhu was scheduled to do the class today, but for some personal reasons he could not do the class today. So I just jumped in with bit short notice. So please bear with me if my talk is not too well prepared. Let's start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Churunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Thapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sa Advaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we are, the topic was preaching is the essence. So during all over the world, ISKCON temples are doing the Christmas marathon. So not only during the winter, in ISKCON, we always try to give whatever we have to the others, the spiritual knowledge. So the verse, I would like to share the screen of the verse. All right, okay. Sumedh, could you let us the host so that we can share the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So just wait for a second. So this is the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, when Prahlad Maharaj was teaching his friends. This is a nice mode of the devotees, how they give out Krishna to others. So this is the same mood we see for all the Guru Parampara, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, whoever we take in the Parampara, everybody has this mood. And this is the mood we, all the devotees, should be aspiring for as well, to be successful in devotional service. So I'll recite the verse. Okay, would you like to repeat? No. Tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu dayam kuruta sauhridam. Tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu dayam kuruta sauhridam. Bhavamasuраमुन्मुच्य yaya tushyantyathokshajah. Bhavamasuраमुन्मुच्य yaya tushyantyathokshajah. So we'll read the word to word and then the translation. Tasmat, therefore, sarveshu, to all, bhuteshu, living entities, dayam, mercy, kuruta, show, sahrudam, friendliness, bhavam, the attitude, asuram, of the demons, who separate friends and enemies, unmuchya, giving up, yaya, by which, tushyati, is satisfied, adhokshajaha, the Supreme Lord, who is beyond the perception of the senses. So does anybody like to read the translation? Soumya Mataji or Rajakumar Prabhu?
I can read, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Therefore,
Krishna.
my dear young friend born of demons, please act in such a way that the Supreme Lord, who is beyond the conception of material knowledge, will be satisfied. Give up your demoniac nature and act without enmity or duality. Show mercy to all living entities by enlightening them in devotional service. Thus become their well-wisher.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. So this is a show the mercy, the Sanskrit word daya, dayam, mercy. We should show the mercy to everyone without any enmity or duality. So, and enlighten them with the devotional service. That's way, thus becoming their well-wisher. So let's read Prabhupada's purport. Anil Prabhu, would you be like to read the first paragraph?
Yes. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 18:15, Bhakcha mam abhichanati yavan shasmi tattvata. One can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. Prahlad Maharaj ultimately instructed his class friends, the sons of the demons, to accept the process of devotional service by preaching the essence of Krishna consciousness to everyone. Preaching is the best service to the Lord. The Lord will immediately be extremely satisfied with one who engages in the service of preaching Krishna consciousness. This is confirmed by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 18:69. Nachitasman manusheshu kashinme priyakrittamah. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. If one sincerely tries his best to spread Krishna consciousness by preaching the glories of the Lord and his supremacy, even if he is imperfectly educated, he becomes the dearmost servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is bhakti. As one performs this service for humanity without discrimination between friends and enemies, the Lord becomes satisfied and the mission of one's life is fulfilled. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore advised everyone to become a guru, devotee, and preach Krishna consciousness. Yare dheka tare kaha Krishna upadesha. That is the easiest way to realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By such preaching, the preacher becomes satisfied, and those whom he preaches are also satisfied. This is the process of bringing peace and tranquility to the entire world.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. There are nice points we could pick up from Prabhupada's purport on this one. First one is that in 18 chapter 69 verse, Nacha tasman manushyeshu kaschin me priya krittamaha. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. If one sincerely tries his best to spread Krishna consciousness by preaching the glories of the Lord and his supremacy, that's one become very dear to the Lord if he tries his best to spread Krishna consciousness. So that the key in this word I picked up as we should try our best. It's not that we should try half an hour or 1 hour or 2 hours or a day or particular service, but it's to our maximum capacity we should try to spread the Krishna conscious. And the second point was really touching is even if he is imperfectly educated, he becomes the dearmost servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what else we need, it's we don't have to become Bhakti Shastri or Bhakti Vaibhava graduates or anything. Just we of course, as part of service, we should learn the scriptures. But it's but the mood that we need, we should give this to. We should try our best to spread Krishna consciousness. So if as one performs this service for humanity, this is the third point. So the first point is whoever spreads Krishna consciousness, they are very dear to Krishna. Second point is that we should sincerely try our best to spread Krishna consciousness. Third point is even if we are imperfectly educated, one can become dearmost servant of Krishna. There's no to become dearmost to Krishna. There is no sort of criteria. Just to spread the Krishna consciousness, our best. And the next point, the fourth point, as one performs this service for humanity without discrimination between friends and enemies, the Lord becomes satisfied and the mission of one's life is fulfilled. So that is that where it was a little bit tough for the devotees or the people who are not trained. In the daily, what is that, in the day-to-day activities, people go for the customer service skills. People are trained to dress up nicely, put a smart suit or smart clothes and smile at the customer, but it was so artificial. But a preachers should do this service without discrimination between friends and enemies. So that's the key. From the bottom of the heart, we should see everyone equal, what color, what background, Indian, African, American, European, English. We should not see, what color one is or what background they're coming, whether they are rich or poor or educated or uneducated. We should try our best to distribute this knowledge to others. If Lord sees this endeavor, Lord becomes satisfied. And when the Lord is satisfied, the mission is fulfilled. So the next point is the 5th point. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised everyone to become a guru. So it's not for it's not for certain class of people. It's not for a certain age. It's that everyone should become a devotee, become a guru, and preach Krishna consciousness. That is the easiest way to realize the Lord. By such preaching, the preacher becomes satisfied, and those to whom he preaches are also satisfied. So this is the way we can bring the tranquility to and peace to the entire world. So this is the same message when the Parikshit Maharaj was Shukdev Goswami was reciting Bhagavatam. He mentions that whoever asks the questions, now the ones who is asking, who is listening, who is answering, they all get benefited. So similarly, when we preach, it's not the other person, it's the preacher becomes satisfied. So it's for one's own satisfaction. That's another angle to spread the mission of Krishna consciousness. Let's see. Any comments so far in these 5-6 points?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
A small clarification with regards to preaching to the friends and enemies. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna was saying, please, whoever discloses this Bhagavad Gita to austere persons, devotees, and it should not be disclosed to the non-devotees. So Krishna mentions that. But here, as a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, so without any discrimination, so we need to spread this Krishna consciousness to enemies as well. So could you please give some light on that one, please?
Sure, Prabhuji. So Krishna has come to give this knowledge, in 4th chapter, as that Lord says that he gave this knowledge to Vivaswan, the sun god, millions of years ago. And because that disciplic success is broken, he gave that knowledge to Arjuna. That is through Arjuna, he's giving all this knowledge to all mankind, especially the leaders, so that they can rule the kingdoms. Everybody to get benefited with the knowledge. That is Krishna's mode, and Krishna says that to Arjuna, because you are my devotee and my dear friend, I'm giving this knowledge to you. So coming to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mode, he's called Audarya incarnation, very magnanimous. We sing this bhajan prayer, Namo Mahavadanyaya. He's so magnanimous. He's that charitability is so overwhelming. So he just instructed Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya to go door to door, knock their door, fall on their feet, glorify them, and ask them to chant the name of Krishna. So that's the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Does that answer you? Does that answer, Prabhuji? Or you still
Yes,
have
Mother.
doubts?
Yeah, so in case when the enemies they blaspheme Krishna about these things, so avajananti mam huda manushim tanamashritam param bhava majananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. So when they blaspheme Krishna and devotees, so what kind of consequences they would face? Because devotees they go with so much of compassion towards all the living entities. But are we making any mistake or offenses towards the Lord because we are preaching to the enemies? Even the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said he himself is Krishna and he's saying to just spread. At the time, when they exploit the devotees, so that is where my concern. So how they would.
Yeah, your question is the first part is that people who does not know me as I am, Jananti Mamudamma. Yeah, so people who do not know as I am, they are the fools, isn't it? Probably that's that.
Yeah.
And then the second part is if they blaspheme Krishna because we're preaching, what offense we get. Yeah. So this is the next part that comes. Probably the preaching. The role of the preacher is first to assess where that person is. So if, for example, if the newly married, the people are getting married, and if you go and tell them that, human purpose is to serve the Lord, you shouldn't be getting married, you should take brahmacharya ashram and do the service to the Lord, then obviously they're in a mood to the blasphemous back because they are not in the position to reciprocate. So this is the role of the preacher. Actually, I will tell you something that in the Prabhupada's in ISKCON, how much sacrifice the devotees have gone to tell how to preach. I was reading this actually about 15 minutes ago. Okay. Just to bear with me one probably. So starting with personal preaching. It's not just preaching, first dealings, first understanding what is important to the other person before we start what is important to them, and then how to talk the opening questions, what they do, what their job is, how their life is, where they stay, and then how much they are interested in spirituality, how much knowledge they have, how much time they have, if they are in a rush, whether they want to talk to you or they are going in a rush, just coming and going or walking by the street. So when they are in rush, when someone is rushed, we cannot give much knowledge. That's just but we can leave a good impression of thanking them, appreciating their time. So, and then how to appreciate the devotees, and systematically giving them the books and encouraging them to read the books, encouraging their well-being, concerned about their personal life, and being hospitable, being humble. And sometimes we can learn from the people we are preaching from as well, not just the spiritual knowledge, some other characters or something they may be good at in the personal qualities. So reciprocating them, being a good listener, and offering the prasadam. There are lots of things, how to do the preaching. It's not the aggressive preaching returns with aggression. Despite all this, this if we look at ourselves, at one point, we were not eligible anyway. I don't know. I'm talking about myself. I was not eligible to receive this knowledge because someone gave this knowledge. I transformed to a certain extent. Does it make sense, Prabhuji, Anil Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Yeah. And despite all the best you try, like Prabhupada, when he did preaching, I think it was in Switzerland or something, he didn't have good reciprocation from the students. But as a preacher, Prabhupada says that when, what is the dialogue he said? When the elephant walks, dogs bark. So we should not take it to the heart. Whether they get offense, we are trying our best to give them what's best for them. If they do not take it, it's their misfortune. But if we hesitate to give others, thinking that they may not take, then many people will, if you think in that mindset, many people miss the opportunity to take the message. But when we do it, our good intention, if they do not take, that is their, having a lottery ticket and dropping it on the floor. That's up to them. But when we know that people are struggling, and if we are not giving, that will be like Prabhupada explains in one purport. If the house is on the fire, and if you see that people are there, we don't use any logic. We try to get them out. So that's it's just realizing that they are in that fire, in a burning house in this material world. Does that give you the
Yes, Mataji.
point, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It was a nice question. So let me go to the next one. Yeah. Would you like to read this, Anil Prabhuji, this verse?
Yes. Hare Krishna. Bhoktaram yajñatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhrudam sarvabhutanam jnatva mam shanti mruchyate. One who is expected to understand these three formulas of knowledge according to the Supreme Lord, that he is the supreme enjoyer, that he is the preparator of everything, and that he is the best well-wisher and friend of everyone. A preacher should personally understand these truths and preach them to everyone. Then there will be peace and tranquility all over the world.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. So, Bhakti, don't scroll it, just. Okay. So this is the peace formula Prabhupada always quoted, to learn that who is the supreme enjoyer, who is the proprietor of everything, and who is the best friend of everyone. These 3 points, we read this verse, we might have read so many times, we have heard and we read, but should understand that deep in the heart. Then when one is convinced, if I am convinced that, the clothing in Marks and Spencer is good, then I can convey that, message to other people. But when I'm not convinced that, that really good product, I cannot convince other people. So these are the things, we can see in everyday life. People are so miserable. They're so miserable. Just to bring them from mode of ignorance to passion, and passion to goodness, this government is spending millions of pounds on the mental health. So it's just to see that, for one person to know that Krishna is their best well-wisher and friend of everyone. That small realization and understanding makes one really, really, really happy, because um, all these PhDs and highly educated academics, or the high level in the corporate workers, or the rich person, in materially, when people are thinking about looking up on other people, on certain positions, but spiritually looking, they don't know who they are, and they don't know their goal, and they don't know how to get that goal. So these three simple things they are lacking. They don't know, where they are to become happy. So it's just adding this to every person's life. If there is that facility one can do, there is no need to spend millions of pounds on the mental health. Everybody will be happy. Everybody will be harmonious with each other. But that to come to that personal realization and able to explain to other and convince, that is the role of the person who is preaching. So that is not a quick thing or easy. It's a Prabhupada says that he put the gallons of blood to make a devotee. That's a phrase Prabhupada uses. It's to convince one person, they have to go to the physical level, make sure that they're physically comfortable, and their lifestyle is in a way that they can add a little bit of spirituality or devotion in their life, and then gradually making their devotional creeper grow, making them enthused in the devotional service. This devotion, their inclination to serve the Lord in everybody's heart, but they don't know how to do that. So to nourish that, to fan that spark, I'm not expert, so just we have to follow how Prabhupada did it, by giving them love and genuine care, not expecting anything from them, and just acting as their best well-wisher, and then forgiving her for the shortcomings, and seeing what they are interested to do, and molding their interest in the devotional service. So that is that's all Prabhupada did. So, Soumya Mataji, would you be able to read the next paragraph?
Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
The word Sohardam, that is friendliness, is very significant in this verse. People are generally ignorant of Krishna consciousness, and therefore, to become their best well-wisher, one should teach them about Krishna consciousness without discrimination. Since the Supreme Lord Vishnu is situated in the core of everyone's heart, everybody is a temple of Vishnu. One should not misuse this understanding as an excuse for such words as Daridra Narayan. If Narayana lives in the house of a Daridra, a poor man, this does not mean that Narayana becomes poor. He lives everywhere in the houses of the poor and those of the rich, but in all the circumstances, he remains Narayana. To think that he becomes either poor or rich is a material calculation. He is always Sat Aishwarya Purna, full in six opulences in all circumstances. Thank you.
Mataji. So this is Sauhridam, being friendly. So one should become the best well-wisher and teach them about Krishna consciousness. So because Krishna is in everyone's heart anyway. So it's not that we are creating the devotion in them. It is in a dormant. It's just reawakening it. So it's a being friendly to everyone. As I said earlier, in the customer service skills, that are the air hostess. They put the full makeup on, put a smile on, and serve everyone. But they are not really friendly to us. They're doing it for salary. But but genuinely the devotees are friendly to everybody. The more one can develop this quality in the service of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Guru Maharaj, the more one becomes dearer to Krishna. So that to give out Krishna, about Krishna, and give out how to reach Krishna and his glories without discriminating anyone, that pleases the Lord. Just 1 second, bear with me. Stop sharing the screen. So that is the essence of Krishna consciousness, and the way one can become dearer to Krishna. It can be in different for different people. Not everybody. Just giving out physically, handing out the book is not. That is not only the way to preach, but the most important way of preaching is being the personal example. The personal example makes a important role. Being humble, being able to forgive others, and always acting enthusiastically with full, like we read in the first paragraph, to try our best with enthusiasm, and dedication, and that's constant. And when there are ups and downs come in the devotional service, not to lose the heart, but patiently persevering it. Like when we were children, our parents didn't give up on us. They didn't count, oh, I'm changing the nappy 1 day, 2 day, 1 month. They didn't give up until the kids are toilet trained. Parents do that. Until the kids are walking, parents help them, encourage them to walk. Until they eat themselves, the parents give them. Similarly, that's the devotion in spreading the Krishna consciousness. If we want to support someone, we should support the individual from the bottom of the heart, constantly looking after them. Any questions, Prabhuji or Mataji's? No questions. So Nataraj Prabhu has a comment. Just let me go to that one. So you put this one for. Okay. Okay, Prabhuji, in your response to your question, Prabhupada, this Nataraj Prabhu's comment, Prabhupada mentions in Bhagavad Gita 18 chapter 71st verse, which is Shraddhavan Anasuyasya Shrunyat Apiyo Naraha Sopi Mukta Shubhalokan Prapnuyat Punya Karmanam. Okay. Purport. I'll read the translation, read the purport. The one who listens with faith without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwells. Purport. In the 67th verse of this chapter, the Lord explicitly forbade the Gita's being spoken to those who are envious of the Lord. In other words, Bhagavad Gita is for the devotees only. But it so happens that sometimes a devotee of the Lord will hold open class. And in that class, not all students are expected to be devotees. Why do such persons hold open class? It is explained here that although not everyone is a devotee, still there are many men who are not envious of Krishna. They have faith in him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If such persons hear from a bona fide devotee about the Lord, that result is that they become at once free from all sinful reactions, and after that attain to the planetary system where all righteous persons are situated. Therefore, simply by hearing Bhagavad Gita, even a person who does not try to be a pure devotee attains the result of righteous activities. Thus, a pure devotee of the Lord gives everyone a chance to become free from all sinful reaction and to become a devotee of the Lord. Generally, those who are free from sinful reactions and who are righteous very easily take to Krishna consciousness. Those who are righteous in performing devotional service but who are not pure can attain the planetary system of the pole star or Dhruvaloka, where Dhruva Maharaj is presiding. He is the greatest devotee of the Lord and he has a special planet which is called pole star. So that is the answer to your question, Anil Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. It's a good explanation. Hare Krishna.
So I finished a little bit early today. Any more questions or comments?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Sumedha.
I just wanted to say that it's a very nice point about preaching is the essence. And so sometimes we either come on two sides of this. We either do so much preaching and very little practice, or we end up going on to the other opposite, which is we think about only our own personal sadhana and not about preaching at all. And often people see these as two kind of mutually exclusive things that you cannot do simultaneously. But actually, as part of our sadhana, to develop our own understanding, we should do some kind of preaching. And actually to develop our own practicing in our own sadhana, and actually develop our preaching, we should do our sadhana. So rather of as two separate, first I will practice, then I will preach, or first I will preach, then I will practice, it's that these two should be happening simultaneously. And as you mentioned, Mahaprabhu clearly says that, become a guru and preach. So there he's indicating the importance of preaching. But Mahaprabhu also then, through his instructions through the Goswamis, he says, well, what is a guru? What are the qualities of guru? Vacho vegam, manasakrodha vegam. You have to control the senses. You have to control your actions. So, yes, preaching is the essence, but also that purity is that force behind it. So we have to have that practice, and we also should be doing the preaching together, both practice and preaching. So I thought that was a nice point that you made.
Yeah, that's a really good comment, Sumedha. Actually, this is two nourishing activities. Self-progression and preaching like a cycle positively promote each other.
Yeah, positive feedback.
Yeah, and it makes you push up and up. That's a really good process. And whatever little we know, if we try to share with others, because we are giving out, we try to read a bit more thoroughly and try to understand. And that helps other people to understand better. And in this process, everybody will be satisfied. People who are talking and people who are listening. That's a really good point. Yeah, and just I'll pass the to Natasha.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So thank you very much for attending this Friday class. Just a couple of quick announcements. So in light of recent news about the new variant, COVID variant, so beginning from this Sunday, we are putting some special precautionary measures in place for the Sunday program. For the Sunday program. So in that, the first one is no masks are mandatory. Without mask, entry will not be permitted into the temple. So we request all the devotees to get their own mask. However, we try to keep some masks there, and we expect a donation to the temple because it's Krishna's property. And the second important thing in that is we will be only giving out packed prasadam. So devotees take their boxes, lunch boxes, pack lunch boxes, and eat away, and not in the temple. And we also request devotees not to pay their obeisances on lying on the floor. They can, of course, offer obeisances while standing. So we sincerely request all the devotees to comply and support. These decisions are taken in the best interest of whole congregation. We are very well aware that the COVID cases are shooting up every day, and we request all the devotees to take the necessary measures and precautions to minimize it and to safeguard everything. And secondly, tomorrow devotees are going out to the city center to distribute the holy name and books, maybe some prasadam as well. So the meeting point is Piccadilly Gardens at 12 midday. So if you can kindly support Ananda Rupa Prabhu and Vinavadini Mataji in their mission of the distribution of holy name and books, that is very much appreciated. Hare Krishna, those are the couple of two announcements, and we shall hopefully see you all on Sunday and maybe tomorrow as well. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki